Welcome back to Hardball. Remember when there was talk of a Barack Obama-Hillary Clinton dream ticket with Hillary in the vice presidential slot? Well, some of the people pushing to have Clinton as vice president have backed off. The founders of VoteBoth.com put out this statement, quote, "Because it seems that Senator Obama has made his decision to offer the slot on the ticket to another candidate, we believe that continuing to ask him to pick Hillary is no longer helpful to our party's chances of winning in November." So, what role will the Clintons, both Bill and Hillary, have in the 2008 race? Joining me, our Democratic strategist Steve McMahon, and Air America Radio president and author of Losing Our Democracy, Mark Green. Mark, you're sort of hooked into that whole Hillary Clinton world in New York and New York City. How deep and lingering is the resentment toward Barack Obama among a certain segment of women who were for Hillary Clinton?
It's not broad, but it is deep among, I would guess, 5%. I am in New York. I'm a friend of the Clintons. I know a lot of their bundlers. I know a lot of their political supporters. And they were for her because of her skills and her principles and her positions. And so nearly all of them now understand that if you want to invade and occupy another Muslim country, if you want to privatize Social Security, if you want to lose the right to choose, don't do anything or don't support Barack Obama. So 5% may end up not being adults. When the Clintons, individually and collectively, campaign for the Obama ticket this August and fall, I think nearly all will come around, but there are some people who are unprofessional and don't know how to lose.
Steve, 5%, as Mark just pointed out, that could be a pretty hefty number in a close election. They'd have to factor women who are resentful still towards Barack Obama, they'd have to factor into the Supreme Court choices that the next president might have to make, wouldn't they?
Yes, absolutely. Mark's absolutely right, of course, and I'm sure his book, by the way, is great. I can't wait to read it. But at the end of the day, this election is going to be about, do we want to stay in Iraq for 100 years, or do we want to start withdrawing troops? Do we think people should have access or have health insurance, or do we think they should be on their own? And do we think the Supreme Court matters? There are some judges up there, some justices, who are pretty old. And it's not very likely that that the next president won't be picking some of these new justices. And I think people in the Clinton campaign, in spite of their disappointment, recognize that, and they will come on board.
Hey, Mark, have you been surprised at the relative invisibility of Hillary Clinton since about July 1st?
No, first, I'm a little surprised and disappointed Steve hasn't already read the book because he's mentioned frequently in the index, as he will discover. Mike, sorry I can't say the same for you. I'm not surprised. When you have a close contest and you lose big or narrowly, the public expects and the media makes you step aside. Hillary Clinton, lick her wounds, relax, spend time with family, debt retire, and it's all Obama's moment. Should she, Mike, have tried to do something spectacular, it would have been off-putting. She has been around New York State at small events. She's not only a big international star, that's obvious, but she campaigns locally election year for herself and otherwise. She's up in 2012, so I'm not surprised that it's been subdued, but will change because now she has been chosen apparently as the keynote speaker on Tuesday night of the convention.
Hey, Steve, on instinct, and give me a quick answer. Don't think about it too much. What do you figure is a higher priority for the Clintons, the retirement of Senator Clinton's debt or the election of Barack Obama?
No question, the election of Barack Obama.
Yeah,
I think they've already stated that publicly, and that's the way they're behaving.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear you say that. You're probably saying that because you know Mark would agree with you and you're in the book. But President Clinton, former President Clinton, is trying to help Hillary retire her campaign debt with an emailed invitation that reads in part, "Of all the people I've had the privilege to break bread with, the person I most enjoy is still Hillary. Now you have a chance to have dinner with her, and if you contribute even as little as $5 today, you can help Hillary retire that pesky campaign debt, and you and a guest might be sitting down to dinner with her soon." Mark, I know you're a veteran of a couple of campaigns yourself. How difficult is it in this economic environment to retire a debt that size?
It's very hard to retire. I've never had to retire a $20 million debt, half personal and half to vendors. It's hard in this economic environment. However, it is impossible to retire a substantial debt, as Senator John Glenn found out from his effort in 1984, when you don't really have much of a political future or prospects to run for higher office. Again, Hillary Clinton will be the senator from New York, probably for many years to come. If Obama should lose, she could, of course, seek national office again. She and Bill Clinton, second only now to Barack Obama, are the most, separately and together, famous and popular Democrats in the country. So I think she'll put a big dent into it. By the way, I actually, I'm not saying this because we happen to be on hardball. I totally agree with Steve. They want Obama to win. They're true Democrats, not just out of celebrity status, but out of a history of belief. And because it's in their interest and the public's interest that they look and they actually do everything they can to help him win, that's important.
Well,
but not number one.
Well, back to the lingering resentment thing. Let's talk about the staff level. In a New York Times article headline, "McCain Camp Says Obama Plays Race Card," a former Clinton campaign communications director, Howard Wolfson, said, quote, "The McCain campaign has obviously been watching our primary very closely and recognized how damaging it had been to be tagged with the charge of race baiting." This gets back to this tedious race issue that we've been discussing all week long. Steve, what about at the staff level? Howard Wolfson, others, some resentment still toward Obama. How does that play out as we progress into the fall?
Well, I think what Howard was stating was a statement of fact, and I think Howard is as committed as the Clintons are to seeing Barack Obama elected in the fall, and I think that's being taken a little bit out of context. There's no question that the McCain campaign watched the Obama campaign in the primaries and learned from the experiences of the Clinton campaign. Any good campaign would. I don't think that this unfortunate injection of race into the campaign had anything to do with what happened in the Clinton campaign. It had everything to do with what happened a couple of days ago and the exchanges that took place. Hopefully, we can put that all back in the background, and these guys can talk about the very important issues that the American public face in the next several years. I mean, we are in an economic crisis. The situation in Iraq, while it's getting better, is still, it looks like a situation that is not going to have any end soon. They're talking about going into Iran. I mean, there are some serious issues, and Barack Obama and Britney Spears and Paris Hilton are just not serious in the way that it's been presented in that ad.
Mike, may I add one more point?
Of course.
The Obama team is not just placating the Clintons by having her speak Tuesday night or offering them a plane. This is real. Because of their immense fame and popularity and smarts, and because Obama and Howard Dean really intend a 50-state campaign, even if Obama can't carry Utah, you want to help carry down ticket races, the Clintons can go where Obama can't. Time is precious. And so they can go to rural areas so Obama loses 65-35, not 80-20. They can go to white working-class communities in Ohio and Pennsylvania where she did better than Obama did in the primary and try to convince them and bring them over. So they are, next to a really good vice presidential candidate, ripping the hide off the McCain campaign on this Charlton Heston, Paris Hilton, demeaning, trivializing attacks on Obama. Next to that, I think the Clintons are about as big an asset as Obama has.
Mark Green and Steve McMahon mentioned 506 times in Mark Green's book.
You know what? I'm going to go get that book. What was that book called, Mark? Losing Our Democracy? I highly recommend it.